AI is the new way of building software. Everyone wants generative AI. What matters is the fact that we learned to do stuff we couldn't program around. And now we can build all these applications.
Hi, Cornel. How are you doing? And can you tell me about yourself?
Nice to meet you. Nice to be here at the interview. So my name is Cornel Fatulescu. I started as a developer when I was 15 years old. I've done all sorts of jobs in this industry, like Scrum Master, Product Owner. I was CIO, CTO, Chief Product. And currently I'm CTO for France and the Dach region in Globant.
Can you explain a bit what your company is doing and why you are here in this AI for finance?
As a company, we started 20 years ago in Argentina. There were 4 founders who are still there, so the entrepreneurial spirit is still there. Their dream was to reinvent the way this industry is being reinvented through digitization. And currently for Europe, our ambition is to become the first partner in artificial intelligence and digital transformation.
And do you focus on a specific industry? And if yes, like what is the number one use case you are implementing?
There are several things that's worth mentioning here. First of all, the way we structure our pockets of expertise, I'd say. We call them studio networks. And one of the most important, and the first one we usually talk about, is AI reinvention studios. And here we have all the knowledge required for modern businesses to survive and reinvent themselves in automotive, in health. So these are the AI reinvention studios. And of course, you cannot reinvent yourself today without employing some sort of AI, at least some sort of thing. And we also have digital network of studios. Here we have engineering, coding, infrastructure. We also have something very special called Global GAT. If you search about GAT on YouTube, you will find that they won also some Cannes awards. I remember this very special thing with the French Argentinian final when the Argentinians won the cup.
I remember
and
that.
they delivered the cup via delivery app in Argentina. So everyone was very emotional, and it was much more popular in Argentina than Messi. Like that, imagine that when they won the cup. So that's Global GAT, and you find there everything in terms of growth, marketing, automation, etc., including loyalty programs, etc. So all that knowledge is there. And of course, we master a lot the enterprise area. So we have a studio network of enterprise where we have Salesforce, SAP, Microsoft, all the big players, Google, Studios, etc. are there. So we are around 30,000 employees in 33 countries. So this is an authentic way of organizing that expertise. Another thing that makes us very special is the way we organize the teams for our customers, because we don't have an ambition from top down to impose a structure, so that we keep that flexibility so that we really serve the customers in the genuine way they need to be served. And of course, our knowledge regarding, because we are at AI for finance event, so everything we learn, like even if there's an exotic case, we go to the best people that we have in the data and AI studio. They will implement. If it's recurrent, they will structure that knowledge into the data and AI studio and spread that in the company so that other companies can serve it. And because it's very important, they are going to platformize that. So we have our own platforms like GenXus Enterprise AI, where these kind of features, if they are recurrent, they become features there. So let me give an example. Chat with documents. That's something everyone wants. Right? Assistance. Everyone was that. You have that during the day. So we have the platform, and it's not something that you buy in SaaS, etc. It's something you can build for yourself so that you have your own platform capable of doing that in your infrastructure, so that it's secured, private for you. So all this knowledge, in a sense, structured by studios, the way we organize, so our culture, our platforms, these are what makes us unique at Globant.
And so you were mentioning one example, chat with document. What are interesting use cases that are really exciting when you are explaining about it, and also that people may not be aware, but that you wish more people will do it and will use it?
So yeah, I can split it in at least 3 kind of aspects. I say something which I think is funny. First, there is no real conversation with any lead, so potential business, potential collaboration between us and the customer or potential customer, without talking about AI. Now, we talk a lot about AI, they look at our capabilities, that's fine, and then half of it stays an AI topic and half go to something which is kind of business as usual. Currently, since the beginning of the year, we had around 150 millions related to AI workloads in business, right? It's an important part of what we do. So that's I think that worth sharing. Then I'd say that AI is the new way of building software. So one of the things we are impressed about is the fact that things that we were asking AI teams, developers, for so long, we weren't able to deliver. We couldn't code audio, video, images. We couldn't work with large volumes of data, like big data, so to look trends and get a sense of it. So we needed machine learning. Now we have all these models that can do quite interesting work. And when we talk about generative AI, the innovation in terms of experience, the thing that we couldn't code properly was the conversation, like having the feeling you are talking with a human. And we can see the conversation, which is innovation, and then the knowledge of the LLM, that's something that we can criticize or not, depending on the scenario. So everyone wants generative AI, but I think what matters is the fact that we learned to do stuff we couldn't program around. And now we can build all these applications. Eventually, we are going to do new software with AI in new ways that we cannot imagine today, that will replace most of the ways we code right now, but that will not necessarily replace developers. It's just that we are going to do much more because there are new tools, etc. And the developers who know the tools are the ones who are going to leverage that the best. So I think that's the most exciting part. There are new things going on, new things happening, and I think there's really value in it, even if I consider that sometimes we exaggerate with putting LLMs everywhere.
And so back to this idea of creating new types of softwares. What are concrete softwares you build for your clients that you think were not able to be built 5 years ago?
Let's first talk about efficiencies. So because everyone is looking at how to be more efficient, invest, but reduce costs eventually, right? Total cost of ownership. So let's talk about this. If you wanted to scan invoices, 10 years ago, that was a project of 1 year. 3 years ago, with state-of-the-art services enabled by clouds or whatever the solution, it was 3 months of work. Hard work, smaller teams, but 3 months. Now you do that during the day. So I think it depends on how you look at the efficiency. Because we talk about efficiency and development like we think of Copilot or things like this, but that's efficiencies that goes to the well-being of employees, not something that the enterprise collects. So I'd say there is a full stack of things very hard to do, which were very hard to do. Now we do that during the day. So we get this through platforms. So one of the examples was Genesis Enterprise AI, where these kind of use cases are automated, like build your assistant, chat with your document, chat with APIs. And why I'm mentioning this, or chat with your database, right? You give it to the database, you connect it, and then you ask questions, and there are various ways to make it work so that it's secured or connected directly, etc. So I'd like to dive in if that's interesting or not. But why am I saying this? Because all these are things that we haven't seen once. These are things that hundreds asked us for, because we don't featureize a use case if it's not asked by many, many customers. So as I said, first we see something, it's exotic, no one did it. Our experts will work hard to solve it, but it's still an important project. And then it happens twice, 3 times. We spread that knowledge, it becomes more efficient, and then we featureize it, and it becomes available to our platforms.
Talking with data, it's a dream for CFOs. You know, like just with your phone asking, why did we have revenue not matching the budget? What is the main cause? And also, can you tell me what happened in France yesterday with the, I don't know, like with the salary cost? How far are we from that? Do you have clients that are already have this type of possibilities, and how do you do that technically?
Most of the discussions after the COVID were, we invest somewhere, but we want to win some efficiencies.
Yeah.
So we want to optimize our EBITDA, some costs. The total cost of ownership is the topic. And now, of course, there is innovation. That's still a part of it. But sometimes we just stop at total cost of ownership, improving that, because we talked about CFOs. So there is no use case, no singular use case that can be accepted, approved, without having an impact on the total cost of ownership, which usually translates to reducing costs. And here there are dreams and there is reality. So I was saying, like, putting LLMs everywhere. You can think of the magic ball, lots of knowledge in it, and you fine-tune it a bit, it's gonna work like magic. Like that's gonna be the virtual assistant of tomorrow, and everyone will talk and will. It's not working like this. You need real-time data. You need the context in an. If you look at an ERP, I mean, there's lots of context that you're putting all that in an LLM. It's kind of useless. Then you think you do that with RAG, and you try to augment your assistance with this, but it's always a bit limited. You cannot. It's an interesting approach, but it's limited as an approach. I am someone who promotes a data vision for companies. Like for there is an important customer concept that we work a lot with customers called data graphs, but not as storage. Data graphs as a service, where more like the Microsoft graph or Google Shopping graph. Right? Where you have a service capable of serving lots of users or tenants or customers, or so highly scalable, where all your data is there, but with various levels of authorization. So at runtime they are there. You have real-time updates. You have all this, and eventually your system can read from that.
Okay, so you need to have that first setup, and then you can talk with your own words to get the feedback from this data graph.
Yes. So I think ontology would be something people should be more aware of, and thinking of the vision where we want to be in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, what kind of data we have, how are we going to discover what kind of data we have, where is going to be the latest version of the data, how can we consume that data fast, how can our data teams explore faster without having access to the sensitive data or of the data sets or things like this. How can we do environments, development, testing, etc. So all these are part of an important set of questions that you can land in a vision, and artificial intelligence with a small part of it, generative AI with LLMs are just a small part of that vision, that ambition. So I'd say it's never too late to start working on such a vision and ask powerful questions about how we can, for example, we are working with some customers in data marketplace, internal data marketplace. Now, if you have a data graph, it's easier to have a data marketplace, but that's a new concept. But the idea is, how can our data teams look at the data sets, discover the data sets that are available and people somehow validate it? What are the terms and conditions of using those data products? What does it mean to create a data product? How does the organization change? How can I contribute to create my own data product? Am I allowed to create my own data product? If all employees start to collect data about the health of their colleagues, that's going to be a problem for companies, right? And that completely changes the way we look at an enterprise. And I'm saying this only because it's important to not forget generative AI is important. It's going to still be important in the future, but that's such a small part of it. I have customers, their board came and said to the CTO, wow, we've heard about this AI thing. We want to do AI. And I said, but we are doing AI.
Yeah, already since
we were doing it, which is just we were so bad at communicating about it, and there were very interesting conversations. So AI, I'd say talk. We need to be more philosophical about it because there is impact in what we do, but it's technology. Let's focus on our business, how we do the business, how we can innovate, how we can increment, how we can create features, products faster, how everyone can be served faster. So what's the experience of employees, including developers or data scientists in the company? And of course, generative AI is part of that, an important part of the puzzle, but still an incomplete puzzle if just this.
Thank you. And to finish, I would like to think, knowing all of what is possible to do with AI and data, if you work with a finance team, what would you recommend them to do today based on the technology available? Where should they start? Which processes should they focus on first to use the best technology available today to improve the value they add as a function?
Finance teams, if they work with something, is data. That's the first thing. So I would be mindful about how to do the change management and how to work with them so that they still feel empowered in the terms of the tooling they have, the direction we are heading through, etc. And I'm never going to be the expert in that field, as they are, at least. So being humble, I think that helps in the... Then, in terms of data, there are things I think a bit harder to digest. So what is the smallest thing that they can digest that can help us move the needle in better collaborate, and they can get results out of it? That's the question. And if the smallest thing is to talk about a new module in the ERP system, for example, I don't know, if you look at SAP, We have a studio for that. Look, you can do AI from it. It has a BTP module. I'm not an expert of it, but I've seen this all over and all over. It's like
It pulls the data from SAP table.
it's within the SAP. There is a specific module for that. You can do all kind of automation and data engineering within SAP through this BTP module, and you have vector database in it. You can leverage different LLMs. Of course, I understood there is a delay between the latest version of GPT and the time it gets in that platform, but it's doable. So you can improve in their tools without making them
changing tools.
leave. So I've seen this several times, and even if with my critical eye, because we are very customer experience and when we look at the user experience, we say, can be improved, because that's the look and feel of the SAP. You love it or not, but it works and people are happy. So for them, not going out of SAP and solving their problem was key. So I think with these principles, things should work. Now be connected with them, because without being connected and just working at I'm not sure if many companies are still like this, but we usually we're no longer the supplier in the company, because finance needs us to go forward and we need them to go forward.
I really like this example because SAP, a lot of European companies have SAP.
Europe should be proud about an SAP tech company.
There is a lot of value in the data and all of the processes that are run through SAP. So knowing for people that it's possible also to integrate AI on top, I think that was a very good example. So thank you for sharing that. Where can people find you and hear about you?
Global.com, or if you want to connect with me directly on LinkedIn, Cornel Fatulescu, you will find me there. I'm usually answering, not timely always, but I do answer. So please connect with me, and looking forward.
Thank you, Conan. Bye.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.